Alright, back into it. So, I have done that thing again, where I did some stuff off cam. So, I shall explain myself. I did silicone on both halves of the piece. I've done the fiberglass on one half, and I stuck a flange on this time, so that I can bolt them together after the fact. So I don't have that thing where I'm trying to tape two halves together and thinking, oh, why does this suck? Duh. Hindsight, you know. It's all obvious after the fact, but at the time I was just annoyed. But now I know. So, I need to rotate this and have a look at this underside as well, because I think it's going to be a mess. Because silicon runoff and what have you. I'm going to stab myself. I need to cut that bit. There we go. Alright, well, it's not stuck as bad as I thought it would. And then, while I'm here, I can try and show you what I've got a little better, maybe. You can kind of see where I'm at. Fiberglass half, silicone half. Just got to do this on this side. It's fine. I'll just flip that real quick. Now I need to remember and be mindful of. Okay, I need to cut this as well. Do I? Yeah, I do. Okay. Well, I'll cut that first. I need to be mindful of this part sticking to anything. So I need to faff at that as well, real quick. That is doable. So let me quickly snip this bit so it sits better, and then snip some of this, and then put something in the way to stop this sticking. Probably tin foil. I got some of that, because I can just rip it off afterwards, so who cares. Now I think I'm slowly learning, because I only did a couple of layers of fiberglass on this. And that should be sufficient for what it needs to do, really. Didn't go super overboard this time. I'm getting the hang of it. I like to think I've done it enough at this point. Okay, now I should be able to stand this up against that. More or less. Very heavy. Okay, that fixes it. Cool. Good, good, good. And I need to fix this as well. It's, you know, run off. Which is fine. Not gonna matter. Just annoying that it happened to hit one of my mold keys. I know from last time that if they're a weird shape, they become a problem later on. But can I get any of this off? Maybe? Yeah, okay. impressively, I can just kind of peel that whole thing off. Ooh, I didn't think that was going to work. Right. Trim some of the nonsense. This. Just so I can get in there easier. Ooh. What I was expecting there, but oh well. Right. Better, but I think this bit's going to end up being a problem if I don't end with it now. Because it curves in, I think it's going to be getting my way. That is no bueno. Such a weird mix of music on this morning, I'm digging it. Got ELO, then Weird Al. It doesn't make sense. But I'm vibing. It's annoying though, because I wanted to get the second half done yesterday. But as soon as I did the first half, I realised, I'm going to have to balance this whole thing on what I've just done to be able to flip it to do the other side. So I didn't want to risk it. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it the time to cure and then deal with it tomorrow. So, yeah. And then I was setting stuff up this morning and remembered, yes, all my streaming stuff is not out here. Go grab that, set stuff up, blah, blah, blah. The random art doll slash hat stream. I do like the hat though. I want to make more hats. Okay. I wonder if I can just avoid that bit. Because I'm not going to cut through the rest of that, it's too thick. Which is good, because it means it's going to be more stable when it comes to bolting it. But I'm a little concerned. I think this one. Yeah, I'm just a bit concerned that because this bit sticks inward, I don't want it to stick to anything. I have something in between. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. Separate them after the fact. Should be able to. Just an old heat. It is. So, open. My cup. It's just one of these, but it's an old one. I kept it for some reason. But I'll take advantage of that. Oh, I can't cut anything with these scissors. Hang on. They suck. They are the fiberglass cutting scissors. Let me do this slightly differently. I cut more than I'm gonna need. Because I might as well, really. Right. I kinda need to cut it to fit that. I can do that. At least just that gap. Can't really be bothered to draw around it, so I'm just gonna cut it roughly. I think it's gonna matter that much. Yeah, decent. Okay. Cool. Cool. I will take that. Put those scissors back somewhere. I'll remember. Do I masking tape it or do I thingy tape it? Tape it. Tape. I will duct tape it. Oh. So, plan is I will tape this down here. Epic and cool. Because I'm then going to have this one, that on there, like that. Awesome sauce. Perfect. Wahaha. Do I do a little bit down there? I don't think I need to. Nah, I don't need to. That should stop these two sticking together. I mean, it will. Then before I demold them properly, I will drill through both of them, find something to bond together. Epic and cool. Right. Well, I have to do that thing again where I try to remember to take pics of stuff. This is me learning. I ballsed it up last time. It's something that I can evidence in my build book as having fixed, which is good. Right. I have some fiberglass that I tore yesterday. I'm going to end up needing more, but I think I'll deal with that after I've done the first layer. Is it something to kill some time with? I can't jump straight in again because I'll just rip off the first lot. So yeah, I think I'll roll with that. Alright. I'm gonna double glove it because it's fiberglass, and I will tear something at some point. I just feel safer double gloving with this, to be honest. But good, I can get this done this morning. got to think about what I can do later on today. I'll see. I'll see what takes me. Right. Respiration. Bear with me a sec. I'll just finish with this. As always, I don't enjoy using chemicals in a closed space, but it's dark outside, so I can't open the door. And also, it's 2:30 in the morning, so I, you know, I particularly want to annoy the neighbours. Not any more than I usually do, you know. I like to think I'm fairly considerate with these things. There's, there's some stuff I can't help a whole bunch. Right, I'm going to mix up some resin for this. And I'm debating if I want to have sleeves, really, but it's warm. I do have a disposable, like, dust suit thing. I feel like that's better than nothing. Just because, sleeves. I don't like using chemicals without sleeves. It does bother me. So I feel like even if I just wear it like a cape, at least I have sleeves. Just upsets me to not have sleeves. So I'll try it. Looks silly, but I don't care. If it's a little bit safer, then I'll take it. Right. Let me mix some stuff. Alright. I'm only gonna do 100 grams at a time because it cures very quickly. Only just over shot, I'll take it. Alright. Mix this up. Reposition the fan because I am drying. It is warm. Use this. Alright. Mix this up. Find where I left my brushes. Start from one end and work your way along. Oh. Right. Where did I put my buttons? Why are they over here? I knew I was gonna need them. Why would I do that? Found them. Right. I'll start by covering where I'm gonna end up going with a fairly liberal lathering of resin. Because it's going to drip, frankly, just there. Just so I can have some down. And I guess I'll just crack on. I'm going to try and obsess slightly less over this than I am currently. Speed is still a thing I'm not super good with, although I managed to do this quite quickly yesterday. Reasonably impressive. Quickly for me. I don't know what that is for anyone else, but you know. It may have just been my perception of time sucks and I wasn't actually checking. So, you know, don't actually quote me on that. I'm going to be a little bit careful with this because it's not the most stable. I think it's going to matter. I'm keeping an eye on it. I want to put you here. Probably along here. The other thing that's been helping me is that I've been using bigger pieces. That's been pretty useful. Harder around the mold keys, using smaller bits of iron. But for the most part, using bigger pieces has been sensible. It's already starting to gel, which doesn't surprise me a whole bunch, to be honest. Not it is very warm. Let me see if I've got any smaller bits to deal with those kinds of edges, because I'm going to need to mix up another 100 to do the far side anyway. I may as well contend with this end first. There's no way 100 is going to deal with the whole thing. Try and cover some of this instead. Getting around the mold keys is I have to keep adjusting as I go. I don't think that's going to matter. As long as I'm covering what I need to, I'm not that fast. I like to think that compared to my first run of things, I'm actually getting to be fairly efficient with all this now. Still fast more than I should. I'll own that. For the most part, I like to think I'm not doing a terrible job anymore. certainly when I look at my first jacket of this project, it's a bit of a yikes. It's a good thing, technically. Doesn't feel particularly good, but it technically is. As I always say, progress is progress. See if I can get a fairly large piece. Yeah. Once the glass has stopped sticking to my fingers. I use the rest of this resin in here. I can get a big old slab stuck in there. Actually, that 100 goes further than I think it will. Nice to know. What if I keep throwing me curveballs? I've now got Christopher Lee Christmas songs. I ain't mad. I'm really not. It's kind of a requirement for this sort of time in the morning, to be honest. Something likely. Remember when I first discovered that Christopher Lee had like metal albums? Talking to a mate of mine about it because he's honestly, I'm convinced he's some kind of cryptid. Because he is aware of every obscure musical thing that I ever present to him. Like, I'm yet to find a band he hasn't heard of. And I'm talking to him about this, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I know about that. But how? I mean, on the one hand, of course you do. This is your strange superpower. But on the other hand, how on earth? Because that feels pretty obscure to me. I don't know. Maybe it was a big thing and I just missed it. But I feel like it probably wasn't. I don't think it's out of line for me to be like, how do you know this? I suppose technically it is in the metal vein, so I'm not like crazy surprised if he's fairly well versed in metal. But he definitely has this strange ability to just know. Like when I told him that I was going to go and see Glory Hammer, he was like, "Oh yeah, I know them." What? And then I wanted to go and see Windrose in October, but my usual gig mate was busy. So I thought, you know what? I'll mention it to him. He's like, "Oh hell yeah, I'd love to see them. Let's go." Seen them before, sure. Let's. Oh, I'll go again. Of course you have. Of course you know dwarf metal. I'm not surprised. At this point, I'm just not. But I am very excited to go and see them. So either way, it's a good thing. But I'm just yet to find something musical that he's not aware of. He was a great person to work with because my musical interests tend to be a little obscure, and at risk of being one of those guys, particularly in my generation, it's a bit obscure. Because there's a lot of like 70s prog and stuff. And there's only one other mate of mine who's another enjoyer of that sort of thing. Both these mates are called Dan, so maybe it's a Dan thing. But it was good to work with him because whenever I had the opportunity to play some of my own music, he'd know, he'd appreciate it. He'd give me a little knowing nod, like yes, good choice. And that was a good feeling, right? That's all of that. Okay. Let me try and clear some of the crud from there. And I'll dunk my breath in some acetone to stop it from solidifying. Because I'm going to have to leave it for a little bit before I mix up any more and do another layer. I think that's been the biggie with these sorts of things. I've learned that I have to be patient. I don't have a choice. I can be as peeved as I like. It's not going to make resin cure any faster. You know. Just going to have to give it a bit before I do any more. That's fine. There will be other things that I can do. I just have to find out what they are. I squeeze out as much of the resin from the brush as I can off cam into the bin liner that I have pinned up. And also going to clean the brush over here. Or at least start to clean the brush over here. Alright. I'm going to leave it sat in the acetone for a bit. I'm also going to remove the gloves. Now, because I have to give this a minute, I'm debating whether I take the opportunity to go and get a drink and stuff. Because I might. Yeah, okay. I'm going to BRB real quick, go get a drink, and then come back. So, bear with me. I won't be long. Alright, I'm back. Now, this is definitely still too wet to do anything with. That's fine. Because I need more fiberglass anyway. So while I'm here, I'll pair a few extra bits. Well, I shouldn't need that much more. I don't really have an awful lot left. We cut. I might cut some while I'm waiting. That seems pretty reasonable. Big old roll over here. Assuming I can pull it out from here without knocking anything else over. About. I'm just gonna some more of this, I guess. I've got a little bag that I keep it all in. I like doing it a bit at a time. I just hoovered this place. I'm gonna have to do it again. Just add to my collection of fiberglass pieces and put that give what I've got a poke. But yeah, I know. It's worth a go. I don't know how long it's gonna take before I can start packing with more of this. But I'll have to leave it for now. I might start keeping a separate bag for the pieces that have a straight edge on them, because they're pretty useful. And they're going to be few and far between. I promise you're not missing much, it's just me tearing fiberglass up on the floor. Not particularly worth me moving the camera about for. Hoping it's not going to take that long before I can start messing with stuff again. So I'm debating whether I try and do another eddy as well while I'm out here. I've got one eddy primed and ready to paint. My main issue is where I can store him, to be honest. That's the real conundrum. That should be tons of fiberglass for this morning's nonsense. And that probably... No, I'll do a little bit more. Just in case I decide I do want to make Eddie later. Because I don't know how this morning is going to play out. The way I'm looking at it is, if I've already got all these bits and pieces ready to rock, I can probably get away with doing more things that are adjacent. I do like Eddie. It's a pretty decent mold. I'm also fairly conscious of using materials when my main build isn't done. So, we'll see. See how it goes. The impatience is kicking in. Oh. You know what? I think we're actually good. Oh yeah. Right. Let me stick more gloves on over my gloves. Reinstate the sleeves that I took off because I was dying. Right. Take this brush out of the acetone. Give it a bit of a wipe before I use that. I do have a rag that I use just for cleaning brushes. It's a little crispy because it's just filled with resin and acetone. It serves a purpose, whatever. Seems pretty decent. Cool, yeah. Right, leaves. Where'd I leave them? Over here. Right. Leaves reinstated. Do I have don't like using new cuts. I prefer using old ones. But I can't use that one because that's too new. So I'll use a new one for now. And I'll clean one in a bit. Alright. I'll do the same again. Start with the handy. But this time I'll start from the flange end. That's a gross word. I know I've said it before, but it is. Close enough. Only one out. Frankly, I will take it. Oh no, apparently I'm exactly on. Awesome. Move that fan closer. Can't feel any air. And I need something. It's certainly not much, but it's better than nothing. Alright. Alright. So I need to fill in the gaps on this end. Oh, jeez. Trying to stifle a sneeze in a respirator is not fun. Anyways. Start from there. And once I've filled all the gaps, go back to the other end so I can keep track. And I know how many layers I got going on. When can kind of move it around. Rough idea. How the other side works. Mm. It's a fairly big patch I've got to try and fill. Bit along here. Bring this along. Like wasting stuff. That there are going to be some edges that just exist, but I can avoid wasting stuff. I would rather. And that's kind of, sort of, what I would constitute as the first layer-ish. So I will then go back to this end and basically rinse repeat. See how far I can get. Trying to be vaguely careful with it, because it is definitely precarious. So far. These multis are a pain. probably fine. I prefer doing smaller bits. It's easier to work around stuff. Definitely going to take another handy. Okay, one more handy will be enough to deal with layer 2 on the whole shebang. Watching this, I don't like it. Keeps rocking around. Is Lonely Island still a thing? Because I got a track playing at the minute. And, it's stuff on Spotify. It probably is still a thing. Like, I don't know, in my head it's not been a thing since I've been in school. So it might still be doing stuff. I genuinely don't know. I should probably look into it. Because they were one of those groups that was just a product of the time, you know. It was the Edge era. I I just feel like it's one of those things that probably, I mean, see, I would obviously argue that these things hold up because that was my childhood. But like if I played this to my cousins that are in their teens, I don't think they would care. Which is why I'm like, are they still making stuff? I think they're still making stuff, but it's not going to be the same. Like, it can't be. It's just not. They were definitely a product of the time. I don't see how they could make the same stuff with the same kind of reception. I don't know. Maybe they're doing fine, and I'm just skeptical for no reason. But I feel like that's probably not a thing. Maybe they disbanded ages ago, and I just didn't know. Not a clue. So strange to look back on things like that. friends and memes from the time. I don't know how I feel about it because, like, I don't know. I'm in two minds because on the one hand, it feels like forever ago. Also, really doesn't. It's a strange one. It's like it was objectively a long time ago. But when I think of like 2016, that doesn't feel like a long time ago. Almost a decade ago. That's horrifying. Like I've not even been alive for 3 decades. You know, I suppose that kind of helps put into perspective. Like, it's kind of, sort of, almost like a third of my life ago. Is, which I suppose feels like a lot because it's the only frame of reference that I got. I suppose there's an argument to be made that, like, okay, well, it's actually not that bad. Seems worse than it is. I'm not sure how much more I'm going to be able to get on this without ballsing up what I've already got down. I'll try and whack some more on this while I'm here. I've not got much left. And I don't want to mess with anything I've already got down. I'll have to leave it for a bit again. And it should just boil down to fill in gaps off that. Just that it's only had one layer. Don't know if I've got enough resin for a piece that big. Probably not. We go for something considerably smaller. Better. I think I'll do one more handy, and this is cured just a little bit. And then, yeah, just try and fill some of the gaps around the ears. And yeah, I'm gonna just play it safe and do one more handy. It look a bit bare, just slap this on. And I'll do one more save. probably not going to need a whole bunch, in fairness. Safe and sorry. Right. I'll leave that there for a minute. Oh, more than a minute. I'll just get rid of the rest of this. Rinse, repeat, clear some stuff up. And then have a think. I do want to make another Eddie, but where do I keep him? He's not small. At the minute, he's taking up most of a storage box. Acetone, home to be. Right, I'll leave that there for a bit. This out the way. Take off the outer layer of gloves. Consider me options, I guess. If we're taking the sleeves off, because, oh, I'm very warm. Oh, that fan feels lovely. Good grief. Not that it's particularly effective, but it's better than nothing, that's for sure. So, I wonder if I've got anything else I can do in the meantime. Completely unrelated, but I do have a cast that I made from a mold. I have cameras that way, I remember. A cast that I made from a mold a couple of years old, as per the biblically accurate angel, just without its feathers, because I used actual feathers at the time. And I was going to make a bunch of these in time for, like, actual Christmas this time. So I can always tidy this up while I'm waiting, I suppose. This is another one of those things where I was like, I could make a bunch, but then where do I keep them? I figured if I at least did one, that's, you know, that's better than none. If I've got one that's just, like, definitely ready to roll, I've got to tidy it up. I suppose I can do that to kill some time. It's not particularly interesting, but I'm going to keep poking this periodically. Hopefully at some point I can faff with it. In the meantime, I might just faff trying to clean this up a bit, because this was very much just the cleanup task, to get rid of a little bit of clay and stuff that was still in the mold. So it's not the prettiest thing on the planet. but it served the purpose. So, as far as the mold, it was this. Kind of gives you the idea. And that was just so I knew what part's A, what part B. That's a pretty good ratio as far as resin. I always forget how much I'm supposed to use. It's just easier if I write it down somewhere. But yeah, I might just try and tidy this up while I'm waiting. To say, there's not an awful lot to see. I can brush off much of this. Nah, not good. Lame-o. Trying to see whether there's a way I can tidy these edges without having to use the Dremel immediately. Because that's the best way of tidying these up. But also noise and dust, and I really don't want to have to mess with that. Glass glass is great. It's pretty strong. I'd originally done this as a salty thing, and it was just a one-time affair. But the little spindly bits for the feathers broke eventually. But I've been using it as the angel on the tree for a few years running. Very funny. House guests were definitely confused. Too thick, not to be able to snap any bits off without endangering the spindles. Not a lot I can do with this at the minute. I'm just fishing, get the clay out. A lot of this will end up being cleaned with a Dremel anyway. I need Melaput to fill a load of gaps, so I ordered some though. I remembered to order some. Silicon is another thing I need to remember to order. That was the one thing I forgot. Oh, I did that repaint. I don't know whether I ever brought it up on stream. I had a Overwatch Funko, and I've been selling off a lot of my old collectibles and stuff to fund this. And I had this Reaper Funko, and he sold for dirt online, so I thought that's a good excuse to test a repaint. And I've basically finished it, and I'm very pleased. It actually has ended up looking pretty cool. I wonder if I can just show pics. If I took pics. Okay. So this is how he looked to start with the ring light light. be a pain. Hang on, let me do that. That was how he looked originally, and I thought that's a good excuse to test a repaint, and that's what I ended up with. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that's pretty cool. Because I'm a massive enjoyer of painting cell shading. But to finish him properly, there was a process to this train of thought. To finish him properly, I had to reorder the pen that I was using for all the black lines. Because it was an old pen, and I hadn't ever used it really. And I ended up very much running out of ink. So I've had to order new markers, and then I can finish him off properly. But yeah, so that was a successful adventure. So I'm now looking around like, okay, what other photos have I got picking about that I don't really care for? It's really good fun. If I can do it again, then hell yeah, that'd be great. More box. Fantastic. Now what else? Not able to do an awful lot with this angel until I trim the sides. Let me hope this. Not as bad as I thought. So actually, I reckon if I back out real quick to go get a drink again, by the time I get back, I should be able to deal with the rest of it. So give me a few minutes, and then I can finish this off. I'm back. Okay, right. Let me fix my gloves on again. Now, I do have another box there, but I'm going to have to reorder some. I'm constantly using them anyway, so it's not like they'll go away. I've got an odd number. I may. Oh, I'd like to recycle this box, but it's covered in resin and silicone, and I don't think that's how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that's not okay. Oh, do that now. Right. New box. I know I've got a load more gloves somewhere that I definitely didn't nab from work on my way out. I can't remember where I put them. Annoying. Right. Leaves. As much as I don't want to, I care too much about skin contact. Right. Glass needs to come out of the acetone. Where's my brush bag? Oh, I think that's mostly sorted. Four, four. Stick the lid back on there. It's tricky for me to reuse. So I'll use a new cup because it'll take me too long to clear one out. So I'll just do what I gotta do for now and then deal with it later. And this one last undo. That's 99. Might tip over to the Humvee like it did last time, but if it doesn't, no, it's ticked down to 98. Oh well. Oh well. I reckon that's fine. Right. So this will be the last pass. After which point I have to consider what I'm going to do with my tyre. Right. Give this a squish. Then I'll start from, well, this tank, really. Right. And then, same as it has been this whole time, really. Focus the factors that could use a little extra. Not because of the locator, but oh well. I'll make it work. Okay, that is not as horrendous as I was expecting. Woohoo! I'll take that. It'll probably uproot itself, but oh well. The main thing is I'm managing to cover the bits that need it. That covers a lot of that. And then dodgy patches. A little bit down here. He says he picked up a big bit. Do you think 3 layers is excessive? I'm not really trying to do that. Or I'll just use up the resin I've got left. There's no point in not. Once it's all mixed up anyway, just might as well use that. Try and use it on sensible points. Probably going to be mostly this, to be honest. I don't think anywhere else is really going to be a problem. Fix that other side as well. Bit. I reckon I can fit that in that corner. Seems pretty good. Managed to poke a hole through both layers of gloves. That is impressive. So, change one of those outers. And this is clearly how I managed to have an odd number of gloves though. Fair enough, I suppose. Alright. Cool. Seems pretty okay. Hard to know. Oh, okay. I can kind of see. Actually seems pretty okay. I mean, it all seems pretty okay, really. I just have resin left to use. You might be thinking, why didn't you just mix up half of that? It's because of the catalyst. I don't have a means of measuring smaller units than one. So I had to base it for that. Here's on my to-do list, so get some better scales that can measure smaller units. preparing it again. I'm going to try and avoid going too close to the locators because I'm expecting I will balls it up if I do. Definitely excessive. I just hate wasting stuff. I'd rather things were just particularly secure. Right. Use up the last of this and then really kind of it. As far as this goes, anyway. It's pretty good. Is probably fine. I just hate wasting stuff. I'm gonna have to just take the L on that, to be honest. Because if I start dicking about with it anymore, I am likely to balls it. And I would rather not do that, to be honest. Try and get as much resin off of this as I can. and back to acetate gel. And past that point, I'm a little bit stuck for now because I kind of just have to wait for stuff. So what's the time? Just gone 4. Okay. Not a bad run. And I better than nothing, I guess. Right. That's kind of it for the time being, to be honest. How long have I been going for? A couple hours. Alright. That's pretty fair. Because there's not anything else I can do with this today. I have to just leave that now. But there are other things that I will end up doing today. Whether I end up making another eddy or not a clue yet. Might end up selling some stuff, painting some stuff, dealing with foam. I actually don't know yet. But there will be something. I can say that much. I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time tidying some stuff up. And then I'll have to call it there for now. Take the opportunity to deal with some admin. And then come back when I have a better idea of what I'm actually going to do with the rest of my time today. At the minute, I'm not super sure. I need to find another container that I can whack acetone in. I might just have to use one of these cups. No, I'll just use one of these cups. And then keep an eye on it, because I'm hoping it won't burn through. That would suck. Keep an eye on it. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's order the acetone as well. Oh, jeez. So many resources that cost various. Acetone is not that expensive. It's just another one of those things. It's like, oh, great. Add it to the list, I guess. It's just a mild frustration. I do need to find that filter paper as well. I think that I'd do me some favours. So I'm going to go fast with some of that, because there's not an awful lot left to see at this point. You get the gist. I've whacked some more fiberglass on a thing. So yeah, that'll be it for now. I will return with more stuff later in some capacity. But I always say that, so you know, we'll see how it goes. That's the intent, is to be back with something. Bear with me, and I'll be back later on with stuff, hopefully. So yeah, that's